Well, we're happy to win the game. This is about winning games, and that'll be our second win. And winning for us is what the goal is each and every week. So we accomplish that. Now, let's look at the things that we have to do. Which there's a number of things we have to do better. First of all, is we've got to coach better. We got to prepare our football team better, and that starts with me. I got to prepare our team better. I think Ball State did a great job of coming into this game and doing exactly what they needed to do. Possess the football. I think they had 90-something plays. Ball control. They ate up clock. They did the things necessary to be in a position to compete, and they did a great job. Their preparation was great. Their coaching was better. And so, as we look back on what we have to do better, we have to prepare our football team better. Our players have to bring a little bit more energy to the game. That's on them. They know that. So we go into a game like this we're happy to win, but I've got to prepare our team better. We've got to coach them better, and our guys got to come with more energy into this kind of game. Ball State did a great job with their game plan and what they needed to do to make this the kind of game that it was. And we'll learn from it and move on, get ready for Vanderbilt.
Brian, you're in the front. On the energy aspect, a couple of your players mentioned that they felt like Ball State just had more of it. How do you sort of try to coach that out of your guys during the week? And I got the sense that you felt like that wasn't going to be a question for you guys coming into today.
No, I didn't think it was either. I think that the first couple of days, I think that they were bouncing back from Michigan. I thought that Thursday was a good day for them, but I obviously didn't do a good enough job of getting them and getting them up to play at the level that they need to play. So, each year's new. You get new experiences with different guys, and you know which buttons that you have to push as you get a chance to know your kids a little bit better in these circumstances. So I know our team a little bit better after this game, and we'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
How intentional or not was not running Brandon early in the game?
I don't think it was intentional at all. I think it was just part of play calling and part of what we're doing. I think sometimes we look too much into the whole, did you run them, did you not run them? I think the game and the circumstances kind of dictate the play calling. And, Chip just has to kind of flow with the game. I don't think he gets into it and says, I'm going to run them more, or I'm not going to run them more.
Brian, how would you rate Brandon as a passer today?
As a thrower of the football, he was pretty good. Decision makings need to get better, and we've got to coach him through those things too as well. He's experiencing some things that he didn't experience last year because we didn't throw the ball down the field into some coverages. So, in some instances, these were some things that he didn't experience last year. So, I think we'll make progress off of today with Brandon. I think there was one that he hung up there that I'd like to have back. But on the RPO that got deflected for a pick, I thought it was really good timing. The ball came out the way it's supposed to, through a couple of seams that were really deliberate, things that he hadn't done before. So all in all, you never want your quarterback to throw 3 interceptions, but I think I look at it as that we're anxious to go back to work and because we're seeing some signs that we like.
And were there any spots besides the one handoff where it seems like Ian Book, every time 3 plays he's touched the ball, he's handed off for a touchdown, but were there any spots where you were thinking about bringing him in and saying, I want to stick with Brandon for this reason?
Yeah. I don't know that I would tell you if I even thought of it, but I think what we want Brandon Wimbush to do is to continue to lead our offense. Look, Brandon Wimbush wasn't the reason that we were ineffective offensively. I could name all the things that I just mentioned. I don't think we coached very well this week. I don't believe I prepared him the way we should have now that I see the way they played. We didn't protect them at the highest level. There's a lot of things. Now I get it, right? It's going to go back to the quarterback, and he gets the scrutiny, but I don't think it got to the point where, hey, let's pull Brandon Wimbush out of this game. It got to the point where, hey, let's execute better, because the execution, one of the old John McCain lines was, I'm in favor of it, you know. Let's execute them all, including me.
Yeah. Coach, Jalen Elliott, 2 interceptions on the game tonight. What was it like to see him have a huge game like that for you guys?
Awesome. That's what I like. Positive stuff.
Yeah. We'll make the positive a little bit here, Coach. You know, it wasn't all too negative.
You get a front row seat from now on. You can sit up here. Priester, you can stay back there with that sour face look after we won. You come up here, young man. You are the new favorite.
Sweet.
He gets follow-up questions, Mike, even after the time is up. He had a great game. It was really good to see him because obviously one of the things was for him to grow relative to, you know, the ball in the air, tracking the ball, coming down with it, you know, all those kinds of things. So, yeah, it was really – he got the game ball too.
And then, in turn, right after those interceptions, you guys did execute the offense and scored some touchdowns right after that.
Now, that's a follow-up question, Eric Hansen. That's a heck of a follow-up question right there.
So, you know, does it make the turnovers that much better when you can actually get the ball back and score a touchdown instead of just punting or, you know, stuff like
Yes,
that?
it is. Yes, absolutely.
How important was it to get those points?
Well, we did need some help, obviously. I thought, you know, there was maybe one drive where we didn't play to the level that I thought we could have, from a physicality standpoint defensively. And, you know, and Neil, you know, did a great job. I mean, he got outside contained, kept some plays alive. So we needed those interceptions, and we cashed them in for scores.
Okay. 2 games, and how would you describe Jafar Armstrong and Tony Jones' development as primary ball carriers?
You know, I think that's it. I mean, I think Jafar is developing each and every week. I think you saw his versatility again as a pass catcher, as a guy that's running the football. He's learning a lot each and every week. I mean, there's new experiences for him each and every game that he plays in. So I think this is just, you know, accumulating kind of reps for him and game reps and learning as he goes. But obviously he's got some really good skills. Tony Jones we just need him in there and consistency and play at that high level. And you know, I told him that. I think he can be an outstanding back. We just got to get that on a more consistent basis.
Okay. The running backs have accounted for a majority of the touchdowns so far this season. Has that surpassed your expectations for the running back group?
No, I don't think we had any set number or we're looking for a particular amount of touchdowns per se. You know, we've been in a position, obviously, that we could finish off our drives running the football, though.
Okay. Last follow-up. Does this also go to the credit of the offensive line creating gaps and holes for the team?
It's everybody. You know, it's everybody working together, no doubt.
Brian, Brandon was asked what the feeling was like after this one, and he said, not a good one. Do you feel that's an accurate description of the locker room?
No, listen, the first thing I tell them when we come in is, number one, you can never apologize for winning. Winning's hard. So understand that first and foremost, you won a football game. But you've got to critique it, right? Did we live up to the standards that we've set and the way that we play? No, I did a poor job preparing you. You've got to bring the energy necessary to play this game. It's not chess, it's football. It requires an energy that may have been lacking. So let's look at why that wasn't there. Other than that, there's plenty to clean up in a win in game 2. So I think we learned a lot. We're going to learn a lot when we get a chance to examine the film a little bit more, but I think they're being a little bit too hard on themselves if they talk in those terms.
Possibly too hard on themselves in this regard. Brandon said he graded himself out to be a D+. When your quarterback is willing to come in and take that kind of responsibility after 3 interceptions that he pointed out, What does it say about maybe his growth that he's willing to put that on himself?
Yeah, you know, I don't think he's ever shied from it, Ange. I mean, he's always been first in line to take accountability and responsibility. He's just that kind of kid. I think what really needs to be said is that, you know, the ineffective of our offense doesn't always evolve around Brandon Wimbush, nor does the success, right? But I think we all are going to jump to the quarterback. It's everybody else. And, you know, he jumps on the sword, but we won the football game. He's got a lot to learn. He's got to grow, but he will, and that's the great thing about it. When you work with kids like that, he'll be anxious and eager to come in to get better.
Coach, your defense has been pretty stout the last 2 games. They're making a seamless transition from last year. Can you talk about that a little bit further?
Well, I think we've done some really good things relative to, you know, the leadership. You know, I think Clark's done a really good job. He's a very good teacher. The kids really enjoy playing for him. And I think the assistant coaches have done a really good job of, you know, making sure that that message, that consistent message gets across. So, you know, I spent a lot of time over there. I like what I see and how it's talked about on a day-to-day basis about putting together the, you know, a championship defense. And I think the tenets are in place. We got to continue to recruit. We got to continue to get better. We got to continue to, you know, work on some little things. But, you know, we're playing better in the back end. We're contesting for the football at a high level, putting pressure on the quarterback. There's some things that we got to get better at. We know what they are. But, yeah, I like where we started. We got a long way to go. We're 2 weeks into this. A lot of football ahead of us.
Brandon, I think the perception coming in was that, you know, your defense was going to have its hands full with Riley Neal, which it did, the 97 plays, and that you might be able to overpower their front because they had switched to a 3-4 and they were smaller. It kind of went in the opposite direction, beginning with your red zone defense in the first half. Could you speak to how important that was to the outcome of the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were stout in keeping them off the board, certainly. Yeah, I mean, I think if you're critically looking at it, and look, I haven't even watched the film yet, but clearly we were coming off some blocks offensively on the offensive line. We were missing some fits. I got to take a look at that before I could get into in depth, but I clearly do know this, that we did some things in the red zone that we haven't done before, and I like what we did.
Defensively or offensively?
Defensively.
Defensively. And
We added some things that had been part of our install that we had been working on that I think are effective, and we're going to continue to get better at it.
And then what did they do? I know you only had one game film to look at in terms of their defense, but I mean, did they come at you from a lot of different places? Were they just unpredictable because of the changes that they made in their defensive front?
Yeah, we had very little, but that's not an excuse. I mean, we should have been better at handling the movement up front, and it's a 3-4 defense, but it's hard for me to really get into in depth until I watch it. There were just too many. There were too many times where we had unblocked hats at the point of attack, and that's just not us. That's not who we have been relative to our schemes.
Thank you, guys.
Good.